Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over two articles, or actually one article and one story from a subscriber that's going to cover the subject of the bait and switch wife. All about how these guys got married to these women, and obviously there was enough good things about them that they got married to them, or they thought it was good things, and then after they got married and said I do, one way or another the true colors came out. And in the first story, it is in the worst way possible. I mean, this poor guy, he just gets burned for everything. It's crazy. You're going to see what I'm talking about. And then the second story ends on a happier ending where a guy, well, you're going to see where I'm going with this. But real quick before I get into it, what exactly is the bait and switch wife? The bait and switch wife is when you are with a woman for a while and you think she's obviously so great enough to marry. You get married, you put the rings on each other's fingers, it's official, and then within a certain period of time, some cases right away or months later, all of a sudden it's like Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde, okay? Where she becomes a completely different person or becomes the person who she really was all along. But now that you're married to her, then you got to deal with her crazy ass because you're legally bound and you guys can obviously connect the dots. And this can happen in situations where you are or with a girlfriend as well, or guys, they're dating a girl for a while and then they move in together and then all of a sudden just boom, she's a different person, okay? So this is why I tell you guys that if indeed you decide to get married one day, you got to be with her for a long time. And you got to really screen her, see what she's like in all sorts of different situations. And that way then you can, to the best of your ability, get a feel of who she is, who she really is deep down. But even then, there's no guarantees. So you got to be careful. You know what? You know my opinion about marriage in today's world. And after going over this first story, it'll scare the bejesus out of you in case you ever think about going down that path. But if you're going to do it, you got to really, to the best of your ability, find out who she really is. And in some cases, it also can go for guys. But this is a men's channel, so we're focusing on women to help guys out. So this first story comes from India. I got a bunch of stories lately dealing with India because I had a guy over there who sent me a lot of really great stories. And it's interesting to see a perspective from another side of the world because what goes on here in the West, as in the United States, is happening all over the place. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into this. So it starts off, the title is, My Wife Filed a False 498A within 8 months of marriage, now demanding Rs 2.5 crore to withdraw all cases. Translation, this 498A thing in India deals with a dowry and the guy getting something to marry her. And long story short, she's milking this guy for everything it's worth. It's crazy. So let me get into this. And this is obviously the first article. It starts, I am a commoner who had dreams of a perfect marriage, and loved my wife with all my heart and soul. My idea of marriage, being a bliss to a journey of harassment and nightmare, is worth a share. I am writing this with a lot of pain, as sharing my personal life is not who I am. But if my story can alert the rest of you, why not? Well, thank you, brother, for sharing your story, because believe me, it will alert a lot of people once I'm finished with this horrible tale. He says, I have deep respect for all, be it women or men, and hence treated my better half, equally. Well, you're going to see here, he doesn't treat her equally. He treats her like she is the Queen of Sheba. And that is he makes a lot of mistakes, guys. No ifs, ands, or buts that enables her behavior. And I'm going to point that out. But still, she's a wacko. But did I do anything wrong being kind? I married my wife with the idea of giving her a beautiful life and fulfilling all her dreams. In fact, I consider her as my dream and was thoughtful about every occasion from the day of our marriage to our honeymoon. Right then and there. Obviously a good guy, but a clueless guy. Treating her like, right here, the idea of giving her a beautiful life, fulfilling all her dreams, considering her as a dream. Right there, up on the pedestal, the queen. Unfortunately, in a perfect world, you could treat your girl really well and love her and do all these things and it'd be reciprocated. Unfortunately, there are a lot of sharks out there that will see that kindness not just as weakness, but as an opportunity to take advantage. No joke. He says, I never realized her wishes were demands. I happily gifted her first a diamond ring and also paid for our wedding. Little did I know that my wife was faking her feelings and scamming me to a marriage which is going to be her source of lifetime income. Today I've been accused of Section 498A, dowry law, in the name of women's empowerment. Don't get me wrong, but this isn't feminism nor women's empowerment. It never is. It's a bunch of nonsense. It took a lot of effort and hard work to achieve my career goals, and I moved to the United States of America with my wife from India, hoping to give her a better lifestyle and dreaming that she will be my emotional support to do so. Translation, I want to give her everything, be a great husband to her like, they've seen the show in the movies, and then she'll be my emotional support and be my lady and all that. Unfortunately, it does not work out that way. I was stunned by her change of behavior and disrespectful attitude after we moved to the States. Yeah, well, she probably got used to being around American women, and that didn't help the situation. Constant fights and abuse became a routine. I was shattered and felt hopeless with her quick change of personality. Let me tell you, she is the same woman who enjoyed the benefits of a 1-month Euro trip as a honeymoon getaway. I've never questioned her needs and been a good husband, providing her with all that she asks. Well, unfortunately, again, there lies the problem. This guy, he gives her whatever she wants. And as you're going to see, he rewards her lousy, bad behavior. You never do that, guys. I got lied and betrayed and stolen in the name of marriage for 5 long years. The irony is, after providing everything she asked for, I am fighting a dowry charge against me, which is character assassination and a black mark in my life for loving and marrying a con artist like my wife. This sucks, but you know what? There are plenty of guys out there that the same thing happened to them and just ruined their life, but you know what? They eventually found a way to move on, and this guy can too. But this is tough. I saw her love and interest, which was fake, fading away in just 8 months of our marriage. I'm surprised it took that long. As soon as she realized that the only way to get money was by filing a divorce, she ruthlessly filed a false dowry harassment case against me in Indian court to extort a huge amount of alimony settlement. He says, my story. I met my wife through a matrimonial site in the year 2014. We went on a couple of dates, and on May of 2014, we registered our marriage in Bangalore, India. After a couple dates, see, this doesn't sound like an arranged thing, obviously. He just went on a couple dates and immediately, boom, he's asking her to marry him. What does that say about him? I mean, I'm being honest to you. Where was the time to get to know her? Where was taking your time and all that? Come on here, man. But just, guys are clueless. He sees she's beautiful. Well, I'm assuming she's beautiful and all that. And she puts up the act and boom, will you marry me? And she's like, okay, cha-ching. She expressed her interest in a fine cut, Category 1 carat diamond ring and 1-month Euro trip as her marriage gift. She better be smoking hot, dude. She better be smoking hot and the freakiest freak in the bedroom if that's what her demanding this in the beginning, right? But even then, it's not worth it. Honest to God. He said, all I had for her was unconditional love. Again, the problem. What did she do to deserve that? You just met the girl. You're giving her unconditional love already? How she earned that? Come on here. She was gifted 180 grams of our ancestral gold jewelry as a marriage gift by my mother. After our marriage, I took her for a Euro trip for almost a month as promised, and then we moved to the USA. I spoiled her with holidays in New York, California, Las Vegas, and Miami. This guy obviously does very well for himself. I'd like to know what exactly he does for a living. After 6 months of marriage, she duped me an amount of Rs90 Laka. I can't pronounce this, so somebody from India can help me out here. In the name of medical expenses for her parents, I discovered this was a lie and alerted myself and stopped saying yes for unnecessary financial demands. However, I still provided her a home to live in and loved her. I might have let it go if she changed her behavior. Well, I wasn't lucky enough for that kind of peace from her. And this is just the beginning of this nightmare for this guy. He says, when I questioned her illegal and unfair demands, she immediately decided to separate from me. It took just 8 months to break our marriage, and she filed divorce seeking Rs 2.5 crores as alimony. Again, I don't know what the hell that is, but I'm going to assume it's a lot. The USA court denied the alimony as the marriage was just less than a year old and we did not have any children. Justice was delivered in the United States. Yeah, let's just see how that goes going forward. Then she flew back to India and immediately filed false dowry FIR against me and my aged parents who never lived with her, soon after which an arrest warrant got issued against all accused in her FIR. An arrest warrant? You gotta be kidding me. from what I've heard from my Indian brothers out there that comment on the videos, that it is, in some cases, way worse in India than it is here. So, and you guys, obviously, from India, let me know, reiterate that in the comments section. I'd like to hear about that. He says, my entire family went through the harassment and anxiety during this process. She didn't leave any means to achieve her filthy desire. She got to a level of publishing our personal affair in the local newspaper, which traumatized my aged parents and harmed my siblings' social life status. It's not over here, folks. So it's one thing if she does this against this guy. That's bad enough. But then his family? I mean, she's the devil. He says, she had the audacity to reach my employer in the United States through email and phone and sent numerous emails to my CEO, vice president, director, manager, and various coworkers, portraying me as an absconding criminal and demanding my termination multiple times. Does that make any sense? Because she's not going to get any money that way. Psycho. Again, I don't know what she looks like. I'd love to know what she looks like here, but I'm going to guess we're on the hot crazy scale situation here. Her insanity level reached Twitter, where she illegally posted very sensitive private information, such as my Indian passport, my driving license, my social security number here in the United States, which hampered my security. She also tagged my employer and higher authorities from India and the US with the intention of extorting money. She strongly believed that I would reach my saturation and pay her, which did not happen, as I believed in getting justice. Well, good for you, dude, for staying strong against this harpy, this evil woman. But seriously, she's nuts. And I want to know the legality of all this stuff. Seriously. I had to travel to India multiple times in a year to face the legal formalities and defend myself in court. Yeah, and how much did that cost? She demands a one-time settlement in crores to take back the false cases and settle everything outside of court. The entire journey made me realize her marriage was a planned divorce to seek money and abandon me in 8 months of marriage. Wow, that is a good idea for lifetime alimony. I am sorry this happened to this guy, but this guy went on 2 dates and he's proposing to her. Dude, come on here. I mean, there are that many clueless guys in this world that don't get it. Okay, they watch too many stupid-ass romantic movies, and they see this beautiful woman, and she pays attention to them, and they're like, oh, I finally got one. And the clouds part, and there's magical music in the air, and fireworks go off in the sky, and therefore then it's going to be live happily ever after. Wrong. When was the years of the screening process here? And at the end of the day, no woman is worth this. I don't care how smoking hot she is. But look what happened to him. Throughout my situation, I've always respected the law and paid her, the law, a huge amount of monthly maintenance. Oh, this is the way. She lied to the Indian judicial system and to me about her employment and claims to be unemployed. However, it did not take long for me a long time to find out her employment status. I still wanted to settle it and paid more than 30 lakha for her maintenance to date. I need justice, and I've decided to stop paying her due to her discourteous behavior and constant extortion of money, which has led me to financial difficulties. She has not left any means to destroy me. She has not left any means to destroy me and my family, our dignity, and my career. After I stop my payments due to financial hardships caused by her, she immediately gets a levy warrant issued from the court against me for non-payment of maintenance amount and misused the arrest warrant by sending it across my workplace, social media, claiming that I am a criminal. There is no end to this woman. Crazy. Recently, she tried to impound my passport and cancel my visa due to non-payment. She is well aware that I have no other source of income to survive or to pay her. Her psychotic behavior is a threat to our nation and everybody surrounding her. What the hell is her family like? That's another question I have. Who are the ones that raised her? Let me share the creepy side of my wife. There's more. She has forged my signature with RTI, right to information, using my ID, passport, driving license, photocopy, which she had in her possession, and gets my current records, which she misuses. If divorce is her aim, wouldn't she fight the case and respect the law as I do? She is well aware of the fact that she will lose in the court and will not end up getting her alimony, due to which she is ruthless and strong-willed to destroy my future. She got me terminated from my job in the year 2018 by providing false information to the US of A embassy stating my Indian passport was lost, and they are supposed to cancel my visa for security reasons. She's just pure evil. There's just no two ways about this. I got stuck in India during the incident. She was well aware of the situation as I was attending court to settle our divorce. Her actions made me more stubborn to seek justice and not to pay her, as she has received more than what she deserves, emotionally and financially. I've gone through anxiety and mental stress, costing me my job and career, and it doesn't make sense for me to pay her anymore. Well, he's going through hell, but I do respect this guy is fighting tooth and nail against her. It's like the Tom Petty song, Won't Back Down. My wife has proved to be a sociopath, you think, who desires my ending my life naturally by stress or ending it on my own. I belong to a middle-class family, and I've worked hard to reach this point in my life. I am the only source of income for my parents. Today I question her mental stability, her morals, and her greed for money, as she is not willing to move on when I agreed for a settlement. It's not a man's mistake. In every scenario, women can be wrong. Well, damn right, dude. And she isn't just a case for being wrong. This was planned out, and she's doing everything to destroy this guy. And again, this guy, he obviously does very well for himself. He's come from middle class. He's doing great, obviously, and he's taking care of his parents. Now he can't take care of his parents. I mean, this karma is going to come back and strike her in the ass one way, and I hope this guy gets to see it one way or another. He says, in the last 5 years, I have traveled to India for about 20 times in order to attend court, and it has cost me a fortune. 20 times in 5 years to India from the United States. I can't begin to imagine what that would cost. Shit, I hope this guy's collecting the mileage and getting some deals with the mileage, but holy shit. He says he's breaking some things down here, and he says that the court cases in India against women are not a cakewalk, which makes me write my story to give a heads up to men like me and to women who believe in equality. My wife has been successful in finding a lawyer who matches her insanity. I mean, if we had lawyers fighting for grapists, this shouldn't be surprising for you at all. They are pioneers in delaying my court dates and hamper my work in the U.S. Traveling to India often with full-time responsible role and is not an easy task. Yep, I know lots of lawyers, guys, and believe me, the people I know, they're good people, at least to my knowledge, but in terms of their dealings, they have dealt with a lot of scumbags to just stretch out things, to just keep racking up the billable hours and dragging things out and basically just, wearing everybody down and just costing more and more until they get what they want for their client. It's really despicable what is allowed to go on, but it happens. I guess lawyers are the same the world around. He goes on, instances like seeking medical emergency during my witness date and avoiding my witnesses leading to delay in my case, and many more stressful events were planned by her attorney. I requested video conferencing, but the court denied me due to an objection from my opposite counsel, making it impossible for me to survive during pandemic with all the travel restrictions across the globe. All the fake cases are registered in my wife's hometown of Bhilai, Bhilai, whatever that is, which is an unknown city to me, and they have the advantage of being localities and influence the proceedings, including my lawyer, due to which I've changed multiple lawyers and ended up spending a lot of money. God, I'd love to know how much money this guy spent on lawyers, money for her, traveling to India, all that stuff. All because he thought marrying her was a good idea, and it was all magical, and after 2 dates he proposed and he's in love with her and all that stuff. Pay attention, guys. He says, I've been given short notices due to which I failed to appear in court. Traveling when I have a job in a foreign country is not an easy task. They utilize this situation and raise strong objections, pleading the court to pass the ex parte order and warrants. Yet again, I end up paying extra money. It does not stop here. I've received life threats, and I feel unsafe to travel in her hometown to attend court cases. From who? Who's this guy getting these threats from? I mean, I'm not saying I don't believe him, but what the hell? She used their Twitter account to claim that I am a criminal. It is an offense to do so because it's up to the court to decide, and I am confident to win the case. The entire journey has cost me my dignity. I have lost my savings fighting for justice, which is why the Indian judicial system is biased towards women. Oh, he says, why is the Indian judicial system biased towards women? Get in line, dude. It's all over the world now. But your story will help some people out. And eventually, hopefully, in time, things will improve. But I do my part to help out guys, and you guys got to spread the word. Who gives authority to any person to do those things and disclose personal information on social media? Yeah. I have lost my peace, serenity, and belief in love due to my marriage with my wife. It's funny that in Indian court of law, if a male is accused, he is presumed to be guilty until he proves himself innocent. Unfortunately, brother, that is the same thing everywhere nowadays. However, my question to the system is, what is the charge if you file a false complaint and ruin someone's life and slander social status? And the answer is, my wife will be fined Rs 500, less than $10 for filing false cases. That's all. Well, I don't know about that, but okay. The Indian judicial system is not performing the ground research on people like my wife, who is a B.Tech from Bali Institute of BHILAI Institute of Technology, an MBA from Symbiosis International University under a quota system, and worked as a manager in companies like IBM, Wipro, Dell in India, and abroad. And now she claims to be unemployed and has no source of income other than her husband, due to which she gains monthly maintenance as per my U.S. salary in dollars. This matrimonial case is the biggest battle for me, but I still believe in our legal system, and I have complete faith that justice will be served. Well, I wouldn't have a whole lot of faith at this point, that I can tell you, but keep fighting the battle, dude. I'll be going through the process of being harassed until I prove myself in court, and my wife is enjoying her job and income with no guilt. I have no source to know her relationship status. A con artist like her can never be single, so I just want to connect to all her friends and people who know her and let the world know that I am her current husband. Any information about my wife is highly appreciable. This will help me to get the justice and save other individuals from her vicious traps. Thank you for reading my story. Wow. Well, there you go, guys. There's a perfect example of the bait and switch in the worst possible way possible. Okay, worst case scenario there. So like I said, guys, you really need to know who you're getting involved with in marrying, okay? Now, I wish this guy all the best. Seriously. Now, the next thing is I'm going to read a story about a guy who also found out that his wife is nuts, but the story ends a little bit better on a higher. So this next story, this is from a subscriber. And unlike the guy before who his wife started showing her true colors 8 months after they got married, in this situation, this guy, it was the very next day after they got married, okay, within 24 hours. So on the one hand, that's like a holy shit moment, but on the other hand, it was quick enough that he could handle her accordingly and end up on top. No, not like that, but you know what I mean. So jumping right into it here, this guy emails me and he says, sometimes women will try to hide things while dating and they come out during the honeymoon. This is an account of my honeymoon from hell. And he says here, this is brief, guys, but it gets right to the point. He says, 25 years ago, I married a woman from Las Vegas who used meds for anxiety. Well, there's your first clue, Sherlock. You got to pay attention to something like that. We were married and spent the night in a honeymoon place near Las Vegas. Early the next morning, we caught a flight from McCarran Airport, and he says Las Vegas, and flew to San Diego. The plane barely got into the air, and she barricaded herself in the bathroom. Uh-oh. Anxiety? He says she was screaming and banging loudly on the walls of the bathroom. Imagine that. Everything seems cool. You get on the plane. You're excited to start your honeymoon. Excuse me. And she goes back to the bathroom, and all of a sudden you hear this screaming and banging and carry on. You're like, is that my wife? Right? Imagine that. He says, thank God there was hardly anyone on the flight. A flight attendant comes to me and asks me if this is your wife in the bathroom. I replied, yes. And I go to the bathroom, and she won't talk to me. Oh, this is fun. This is going to be a great honeymoon. And this guy's probably thinking, what the hell did I get myself into? Maybe I should have paid attention to the whole meds and everything like that for the anxiety. Maybe she's off her meds. That's what's going on here. Some people may think, hey, for better or for worse, SSM. Well, no, you don't need to deal with that shit. He says, she continued to yell and make noise. It's so bad that the pilot called ahead and had an ambulance ready for her in San Diego. The whole time I'm wondering what happened. Yeah, he's wondering, who the hell is this that I married? And he said this is 25 years ago, guys. So for any of you guys that are going to try to look up to see about this happened, to Google a situation like this, he said this happened 25 years ago. So, I mean, maybe it's on Google. I don't know. But I'm going by this guy's word here. He says, we get to San Diego, and she and I are put in the ambulance and go off to the hospital. They check her, and we spend a day in the hospital. What a great start to your honeymoon and your life together with your new wife in the hospital. That evening, she is allowed to check out and ask me to forget about the honeymoon, and I get a rent-a-car to drive her back to Las Vegas. Oh, now we get to ditch the whole honeymoon that's been paid for, and this guy's probably looking forward to. But there's a silver lining to this, as you can imagine. We drove through San Diego and parts of Orange County during rush hour. Because it was a weekend, the traffic was terrible, and a 6-hour drive became a 16-hour trip. Yeah, that sounds about right for San Diego to Orange County. I spent my first 9 years of my life living in Orange County, California, and let me tell you, I was there a few years ago, and just I don't know how you guys in California, LA, Southern California deal with the traffic. I mean, amongst the many things that would make me crazy about California, the traffic. I was there a few years ago, and look, it took 45 minutes just to drive down the street to get a coffee. I mean, it's unbelievable. Anyhow. He says, needless to say, that during our drive back to Las Vegas, I was planning my escape. I would too, brother. To make a long story short, I divorced her, and I felt like I dodged a bullet. Dude, very smart. Here come the sirens. I thought I'd actually get away without not having any sirens in my video, but of course, here we go. There goes the ambulance to the hospital. All the accommodations for the honeymoon were reimbursed except for our trip to Disneyland. So much for the Magic Kingdom. To this day, I have yet to return to Disneyland, and I avoid anything Disney at all costs. Well, that's a small price to pay for you getting out of this situation. He says, feel free to share this because I think it's necessary for young men to know what lengths a woman will go to hide things. Please don't use my name. Keep up the great work. So, that's a very brief story, but at least this guy, even though this shit went down the day after he got married, he at least, hey, okay, immediately he saw her true colors in the flight. She's nuts. I'm done. I'm out of here. Some people might say, again, what about the whole for better or for worse thing? Well, do you think many women abide by that nowadays? And just not just her freaking out, but also, I want to go home, right? They get out of the hospital? No. So good for this guy. He got out. I'm going to hope that 25 years ago, and he was obviously, I'm assuming, a Nevada resident, that things were easier for him to get end in divorce, but I mean, who knows? But anyhow, he got out. But again, bait and switch. The first story was absolutely freaking crazy. I feel bad for this poor guy about all the money he's spent, he's gone through, with his job, his good name, his family. But I mean, I wish the best for him. But look what he went through without really years of screening the woman to find out who she is. And even then, you don't know. As I said in the beginning, you just don't know. This guy, same deal. But at least it was right away. He could end it and get out of it. So guys, the lesson of this story is, these two big stories, is if you're going to get in a relationship, let alone get married, you have got to do your homework. You got to find out who she is as best as possible. Spend years with the girl, okay? And eventually, if you intend to marry her, which I warned you about, but if you do it anyway, then you got to live with her and see what she's like living with her. And if you find out it's not as magical like a Disney movie like you thought it was, that says it all. Are people perfect? No. Everybody's got their own issues, but there's degrees of that, okay? Nobody's perfect, and everybody can have disagreements and things like that. But I'm talking about full scale, 180, she's a different person, or in the first story, absolute psycho and, trying to milk him for everything it's worth, okay? You got to do your homework. And even then, there's no guarantees. So, but anyhow, guys, that'll be a good story to go over. Watch out for the bait and switch wife or the bait and switch girlfriend, whatever you want to call it. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know, guys, if any of you guys ever dealt with a situation like this. Share it in the comment section. Everybody'd love to hear it. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.